Downtown Sydney, Wilf, your plans.
Yes, my plan, well, I'd like to see actually all the parking meters taken off downtown, down Charlotte Street. Get rid of those parking meters so people can come around, and another thing I'd like to see it as a mall, you know, Charlotte Street cars should be banned from Charlotte Street. What they should have is sidewalk cafes in the summertime, so when the tourists get off their boats and come strolling through the downtown Sydney area, and a lot of them like to sit down and have a glass of wine or a sandwich. They like to sit out in the sun and enjoy the sun. Sidewalk cafes is a great thing. They work in Quebec, I know, I live there. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing to take, if there's money being lost with the parking meters, we can establish parking lots and charge a monthly rate for the parking lots. And if the parking lots are too far away from their jobs, we might even be able to have shuttle service to certain particular areas.
Thank you very much, Wilf Isaac. You won't be able to put a penny in the parking meter anymore under Wilf Isaac's administration. Cecil Clark, you have 1 minute. Downtown Sydney.
Well, thank you, Alex, and it's a very important question, and listeners would know that we have to have a very strong urban core within the Cape Breton Regional Municipality, and we have to see our waterfront, our major attractions all integrated and grown. But part of my plan is to make sure we have a community strategy so that Lewisburg, Glace Bay, Waterford, Dominion, the north side, all the areas surrounding have community strategies, and it's not picking one versus another, but it is working with councillors individually. Because what we have is if one thing happens in one community, people are concerned about things not being addressed in another. And that's why I believe we have to deal with public infrastructure on a worst first basis so that we actually are fixing problems and creating opportunities than putting band-aids over all these communities. So we have to address what the needs are in Sydney and every other community as well.
Thank you very much, Cecil Clark. Rankin McSween.
I think, first of all, I think it's a matter, I'm a team builder. It's a matter of pulling together a team and looking at that issue and seeing how do we make this better? How do we make it more vibrant? The other thing that I think is incredibly important, other communities have dealt with this issue. Other communities in Canada and the United States have found a way to revitalize their downtown. I really am all for stealing good ideas. It seems to me it's really appropriate to look and see how that's been done in other places and what we can learn.
Thank you very much, Rankin McSween. Glenn Jessam, you have 1 minute.
Notwithstanding the great rhetoric, let's look at some numbers. 97% of people in Nova Scotia work for small business by the Small Business Association's definition, which is 50 employees or less. Stats Canada says it's 500 employees. So 97% of people working in working in Nova Scotia, work in companies that have 50 people or less. Downtown is obviously small business. What I think has to not happen anymore is have $40 million wasted on dredge projects that are never going to happen. That money put into local businesses could create 1,000 jobs now, not later, not 10 years, now. There is no container port. It's not going to happen. Sorry, hate to be the bearer of bad news. Not going to happen.
Thank you very much, Glenn Jessam.